fixed? Do we need to restart?
It's really loud. Oh, I see why it's loud.
We're not going to get demonetized for...
That's true, yeah.
Wow!
Where'd the sound at?
And nobody's looking at my boobs.
That's fair. We can change that.
We could, but I don't want.
So we're all going drinking tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tony,
we
you
gotta
going?
figure this out.
No, I can't.
What do you mean? What are you shaking your head no?
You're going.
I've been feeling. Oh, there it goes. It's loud.
You got sound now? Oh. No.
Oh, there's my boobs.
There's a big delay. There he is.
And it's back.
All right,
Adjust
guys.
your volumes.
Adjust your volume.
We're getting it.
Like screaming. Listen, guys, we had a setup at the GT, so we're coming back.
On the cruise did. Well, I mean, it was vacation, so I guess.
I don't know, man. I was pretty leveled after that cruise, which we all have to go on one because they are a lot of fun. They're fun.
So I have a topic that will bring back your guard PTSD.
My guard PTSD?
Yeah, from the first winter. You know, guard winter of 8th edition.
All right, go ahead.
What
Let's,
they-
I'm intrigued.
Oh my god! Like you've lost my interest.
Okay,
He's
in the beginning of 8th edition, after guard got its codex,
Can you speak more like Morgan Freeman when you're in the beginning?
his army got nerfed.
Morgan Freeman.
His army got nerfed like heavily, right? Like
Back to back.
4 times back to back to back.
You seen the meme where the chick's on the couch? Guard was the chick on the couch.
Unbelievable.
I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Don't
All right.
describe it. But anyways,
Don't describe it.
so Pioneer, the new Magic format, they decided to
They've screwed with it already.
well, they decided to, instead of just wait to see what happens and see where the dust settles, because there's no major tournaments until early next year, they decided to do updates every Monday. And so they have the first Monday they banned through.
Was it that one?
No, it wasn't that one.
Yep. That girl is the couch.
So they
It'd be a lot funnier if you guys could see it.
I'm not gonna do that. We're not doing that.
Go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry.
so they banned 3 cards the very first Monday. They banned basically 2 decks that were overperforming out of existence. And then they just banned something again, but it was a sideboard card, the one that I hate. But
Wait, the one that
The
was,
whale?
like, objectively dumb.
yeah, it's like it shouldn't have been printed, but in Pioneer they banned it. That's it. But it just shows that they're going to probably ban something every Monday until the dust settles, and that's scary.
What that's doing is creating new dust.
Yeah.
You're essentially, from a game design standpoint, you're chasing your own tail, right? Because you're like, oh, this is going to be bad, so you fix it and just create a vacuum
for new
where
bad
something-
stuff.
where new bad stuff emerges. I mean, that's just logical,
Well,
right? Like,
it's
I'm
also
not like a,
well, it's also not allowing the community to respond with their own creativity to combat said things.
right. And then another thing is, this is an eternal format, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a non-rotating format. So you're going to run into the same issue that Guard is in right now, where all the things that had to be removed early on, like if they had them back right now,
Wouldn't be that?
wouldn't even make any difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everybody's like, oh, we got to ban conscripts.
And Magic has been, Wizards of the Coast has been famously known for not being too keen on unbanning things. They do like once every 2 years. It's only like 1 or 2 cards maybe.
To unban?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to go back and say, hey, we screwed up.
My favorite thing is this past summer, they unbanned a rotating card that was going to be rotating in 3 weeks. They unbanned Rampaging Ferocidon literally 6 weeks before rotation.
Ferocidon.
It's
Yeah.
a dinosaur.
It was a
It's ferocious.
You
ferocious.
cannot say that word without sounding like
It
an
was
asshole.
a rampaging, ferocious dinosaur.
Jimmy, why are you still a virgin? I'm playing with my Ferocidon, Mom.
Give me a
Unbelievable.
That's really
minute.
funny. That's funny. I don't care. I don't care who you are. That's funny right there. Okay, so
I said, don't come in while I'm cleaning my room.
Vacuuming.
I'm vacuuming my room.
All right.
oh god, we got to clean up the dead air with the.
Let's talk about Shia LaBeouf.
Holy crap!
I'm a big fan. Tony hates him.
I don't really want to talk about Shia LaBeouf.
I don't either. I was gonna say, let's just do it. I guess.
Did he do something recently?
He exists. That bothers me.
Whoa,
I mean, he has for a
whoa.
while.
Biggest news
The
is
way to remedy that is for him to not exist.
I just said it bothers me. Now he's got to not exist.
the biggest thing is he has a new movie coming out that I really want to see. And you said you wanted to see.
I do want
What
to
is
see
it?
it. I don't mean I like
It's called
Transformers.
no. It's called Honey Boy. He wrote it, directed it, and stars in it.
Oh,
It's about his own life.
Okay.
So he's got two actors playing his like even Steven age kid, and then like his I think Transformer age kid. You know what I'm saying? You got like a kid actor and like a teenage actor, and then he's playing his own father.
He looks like he did in Transformers right now.
Yeah, he perpetually will.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah,
for I
that's
feel like
his-
he's trying to look like Tom Hardy, but like not with the swagger. If that makes sense.
He's got a
He's going for the non-swagger look.
Well, I think he's trying to be Tom Hardy, but like he doesn't have the
He's
swagger.
not nearly as good an actor as Tom Hardy, though, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
mean, Tom
I'd
Hardy's
go
like-
on record and say I don't.
Right,
I
Tom
don't
Hardy's
think
like
so. None of my
kind of
opinion.
renowned as like
Yeah.
one of the top 5 male actors right now, right?
Yeah, go watch Venom.
Listen, that you're served with a plate of trash.
No,
Venom was
he's great.
just as good as
He's great.
Spideyverse.
him and Shia did do well in that mob movie that they were in.
Shia LaBeouf does not. I never saw that. I wanted to see that. What was that called? Like Relentless or something?
Crap, I don't know what it was.
That's a weird title for a movie.
It was like Prohibition era, and like him and his family, they were in the same family, and they.
Can we pull up a picture like Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy like right next to each other? You'll see what I'm talking about. It's
They-
like it's literally Tom Hardy like if he lived in a trailer. That's Shia LaBeouf.
wow.
So like a poor man's.
Yeah, like
Kind of, yeah.
he's like the Great Value brand Tom Hardy.
What is that?
I don't know if he is. I don't know if I agree with that.
He's not as good. You know, he's not happy
Lawless.
about
It's
it.
just called Lawless.
Flawless.
Here's one.
You'll get what you want.
Get together,
like-
my old friend.
You'd rather not have it. How'd the GT go?
I was just gonna say that's enough Shia LaBeouf for 1 month.
No,
but,
we're gonna get a picture at some point.
That's fine.
There's a
come
picture.
back.
No, the GT, Maple City
Although
GT.
they really don't look that much alike in this in this comparison here, but oh well, that's them.
See what I mean? Swagger, not swagger. Shaved needs to shave.
I don't think he needs to shave. I'm fully accepting. Don't have to
You're
shave.
fully accepting of his face.
Brittany just texted me, said Tony is wrong.
Why didn't she comment on the stream?
Yeah, babe, comment on the stream. See, Tony's wrong. Let everyone know.
Okay, so at any rate, Maple City GT that was this weekend it came and it went. I thought it went really well. We had a lot of positive feedback. We're trying still kind of gathering feedback from the players via our Google Doc. So if you played and didn't fill it out, please fill it out. If you did play, thank you for playing. We appreciate it. Next year, we're hoping to get around 50. I'd like to hit major next year, which is 58.
She said Tony is wrong.
That's fine. I appreciate that, Brittany. Now, next year, you need to play in it, Brittany. It helps us get to 58. So we hit 28 this year, which is the GT mark.
Yeah.
And next year, I'd like to hit 58, which is the major mark.
Well, we would have gotten probably around 15 more or so if there was another tournament that happened in Detroit.
Yeah. What's frustrating about that is like our event. We schedule all of our events, at least a month out.
Yeah.
Usually more than that. This was obviously scheduled more than a month out, and other stores around us just ignore our events and just do their own thing.
Yeah, I think next year we should just like give them a ring and say, hey, You know, we got this big GT.
Well, as
we're
soon
scheduling. We got
as-
this big GT. We're scheduling.
As soon as I have a date from the venue, we're going to start pushing Maple City 2020.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we don't know when that's going. You know, hopefully soon, because then we can really start getting it out there. I've heard a lot of people say that Memorial Day weekend would be a good idea. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I could see it going both ways. Because Memorial Day, people typically grill out on Monday, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Holiday weekends are always just like a weird thing. Like either people
Nova
are.
takes place over Labor Day weekend, and that's
Well,
one of the
no one
biggest.
cares about Labor Day.
Well, it's the same concept, right?
Oh, it's different. Memorial Day is like near the first day of summer, and Labor Day.
Labor Day is the last official day of summer, or unofficial day of summer.
Yeah. Little boof.
No, I don't know. But anyway, at any rate, the event went well. Space Marines won, shockingly.
Iron
What's going-
Hands?
What am I missing?
Wait, no,
No.
Iron Hands didn't win.
Nope.
Iron Hands got
Iron
second,
Hands were
third,
on
and
top
fourth.
table, but Dakota finished in the top 4. He was on the top table. What am I missing? here?
It could have been Jake, but you made him quit.
That's funny. Jake was into it too.
No, check it out. Okay, so I pretty much got the army together Thursday, and I was like, all right, I'll play. And I texted, I think I told Tim every single day, like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, that if he scheduled me against Dakota, I would burn this place to the ground. And
What happened?
I haven't burnt the place to the ground yet, but just, time's a ticking. 'Cause I got
Somehow
scheduled
you-
against
That
Dakota
sounds like
round one.
You just threatened somebody in a public forum.
Yeah.
Prove
but
it.
Insurance is paid for the year, so go ahead.
This
and
is
burn it
being
down.
recorded.
But no, okay. So I played most players here, and I usually have really good close games. I never really destroy anyone or get destroyed by anyone except for Dakota. Dakota always just whoops me. So
Mollywops.
I was like, don't or pair me up against Dakota. Just round one, and I got whooped.
To be fair, as a tournament organizer yourself, you know how pairings work.
I know they're random.
They're 100% random.
Well, they're using software to do it, so it's not actually random.
Well, right. And
So
there
if
are.
you put their names in at the same time, they have a higher chance to get paired together.
That's not true.
I
at
don't know
all.
if that's true with this
That's
software,
not-
but
It's not true with any software.
it's probably true with some software.
Absolutely.
Why
it's
would
true.
that be an indicator?
Well, you don't know how it was written. I mean, you don't know what their random.
That would be an added programming to say, all right, these two got put next together gives them a higher chance.
No. It would be something more like take the names entered. Did you know how programming works?
Yeah.
Because it would just be like take names that are entered and run them through this formula. So if you took this name entered and this name entered, they're going to be run through the formula together. They'll be closer.
But
It's entirely possible.
if you take 18 names to run through it, whether you're next to
It depends on the formula.
I don't know how the software. I do
just
know
don't
that this-
think that it would be written.
I've heard that software that we used for the GT with the Best Coast pairings, that it does have a higher chance of pairing people with certain names.
That's what
And
I'm
like-
saying, yeah.
And we've
Yeah.
seen it. I mean, we've hosted a lot of events here over the years.
Software, especially like games with RNGs, like random number generators, they're constantly tweaking it because it does not work in a random fashion.
No, because you can't, right? Like,
No,
you
it's
have
just-
to tell
it's
it what
not
to do.
possible to do.
So, Brittany Seal's been asking me, and she just asked here on the chat, what are we doing for Black Friday? She's asked me like 15 times.
Yeah, but isn't that not this week, but something we would announce in the following week?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
definitely
usually
not gonna
we
announce
u-
it here.
We usually announce it the week before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we put it on
Which
our
means we need to
Facebook.
meet this Sunday to talk about it.
Yeah, so like I told you, Brittany,
I'm glad
we'll
you-
let you know. You'll be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, meeting Sunday at 11. I'm glad she brought that up because I was going to mention meeting to you and I totally forgot. So now we've cleaned that business up on air.
Thanks, Brittany.
Let's see. What else can we talk about that's personal into our inner workings? So
Disney Plus came out today.
that's
Yeah, I was
not-
talking about
not
the
only-
Mandalorian.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
that steaming pile of hot garbage
I'm
that
fresh
was.
off my first viewing of The Mandalorian.
Mike, what did you think about it?
All right, there we go.
Well, I want to know
He's
because
not on air.
I know. I just want to
Do
get
you realize
his
how we
opinion.
started the show? It's like, well, we're not going to interrupt people very much. And I'm like, well, I think, Mike, what do you think? Tim, what do you think? I just watched it, so it hasn't had any time to set in.
I'm normally like on the other side of Tim when it comes to Star Wars stuff because I feel like he's a bit harsh on it because he's real close to it. He loves the material, but like
You need to make it a past tense, Tony. It's a
loved. But this show was they made some really bad choices.
I'll agree with that. They made some very bad.
It's too early to say that the
Yeah,
whole thing is
yes,
bad,
yeah.
but
But they did do some things that I'm like, why? It takes you out of it. We talked
Yeah,
about that many
yeah.
times where you're like,
immersion.
it
yeah.
shouldn't break your immersion. Like, what the hell is that? Like, and canonically, when what is this? When series or shows or movies don't follow their own rules,
That's
that's
yeah.
a big problem. Okay, like
Yeah.
that's why we talked about the Holdo maneuver, jumping through the Star Destroyer. As cool as it is, as cool as it looks, it just breaks previously defined rules, right?
At least those were rules defined like literally decades ago. Maybe the writer forgot about this. The Mandalorian breaks it within 20 seconds.
that's fair. That's fair. But that also is what we're talking about. Like a blast door just doesn't do what a blast door is supposed to do, and it's pretty clearly defined that.
within 20 seconds prior that it's
Yeah.
not it won't work.
Well, you see in episode 1, Star Wars episode 1, not the episode 1 of the Mandalorian, but Star Wars episode 1, that it took some time, like some like Destiny raid type time, where you have to protect Qui-Gon Jinn while he puts a lightsaber through the door, and
Which was really cool, right? Because
Right.
because the first 3 films, once those doors are closed, open the blast doors. Open the blast doors, right? You have to go
Yeah.
around or wait for them to open because you're not getting through them. And then episode 1 rolls around and Qui-Gon, like you said, he's literally got to like cut a hole in it.
But
And
it's
everybody's freaking out
it's-
because he's able to do it, but it takes a long time.
right, and then in this
In this one, a concrete pillar guards them from this giant gun, right? So they're hiding behind it, and this gun's shooting a concrete pillar. They're not dying. Then they get the gun, and we're like, those are some blast doors. And they chop a hole in it
Very fast.
within 5 seconds.
Very fast. It was no. Again, like you said, it's too early to say on the show. It is already better than The Last Jedi, leaps and bounds.
But it's making some bad choices, and it's right now it was on a steep slope going down.
That's fair.
I'm saying
That's
that
fair.
at the end of the
I
episode.
will say that I didn't love the dialogue.
At least there isn't really bad product placement in it. Like,
Yeah.
there's a plus.
No monsters.
No
energy
product
drinks.
placement.
No, there's
yeah,
no monster
exactly.
energy.
Yeah. Canon
Let's
cameras.
see. I'm a little concerned they're setting the Mandalorian up to be a little bit of a cuck, and not like he's supposed to be intimidating. And like so far, all that's happened is he's been cucked at every turn.
I think he's been intimidating.
I don't know. Maybe
He
maybe
was
it's just,
until the end, from what
Yeah,
I
until
saw.
the end. Yeah.
yeah.
it's
the
okay
end,
to
it
have badasses have a sensitive side.
I agree, but like we need if it's hard. Okay,
David Blaker says no product placement yet.
exactly.
How are they going to place product?
You never
All
know,
right, man.
They might be called like
The Mandalorian's going to
Hut
hold
of
up
Cola or
like,
something. But
like a Colgate like toothpaste. We haven't even seen his face, but he uses Colgate.
oh, hell.
Bernie, that was the worst thing they showed in trailers.
Was what?
Ray with the lightsaber.
I thought you didn't watch the trailers.
I watched the first one that had her.
That was really stupid
Switch.
because we know that nunchuck lightsaber is a vision.
You know, I was thinking about this about
I'm
how
evil.
like Luke was supposed to balance the Force, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all he did was create.
Well, no,
imbalance.
Vader. It's always been Anakin.
Okay, so Anakin
Yeah,
was supposed to
Anakin
balance
is
the
the
Force,
prophesied.
and he didn't balance it.
No, he did.
He did at the
He
end.
did because he killed the Emperor.
See, this is I need to like pay attention to
Yeah,
shit.
here's the
like,
thing.
This doesn't make
It's
sense.
one of those. It's almost like the prince that was promised prophecy.
that doesn't
like,
balance it though.
I don't know. Two
But
good
what
guys
is
and two
balance?
bad guys.
That tips it to the
technically,
light side.
Exactly. I was going to say balance
that's-
means that a Sith has to exist.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I agree.
So like,
Well-
I think that from what I've seen so far, they're trying to make Rey the balance.
That's right.
She's
I
doing
may
what
be
they're
Luke,
doing.
Luke
light
was
and dark. Right?
Luke was also shown that he was a very conflicted person and
But
kind
he
of
chose the light side.
yeah, and
That-
honed
he
it
had
at the
that
end.
vision in the second movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where he's like he had to kill himself as Vader.
Yeah,
So he
Well,
chose
no,
to be
no,
the
no,
good
that-
side.
That's why Empire's really good because there's a lot of complexity to it.
Yeah.
Like literally Yoda's like, don't go in there. It's a bad idea, and he does it anyway because he's arrogant. You know what I mean? So like he
Yeah.
keeps failing. Like all Luke does is fail. Like right up until the end. You know, like
Especially when he screams no.
yeah, it's really bad acting. But like that, which is a shame because I think the character of Luke Skywalker is really good, but Mark Hamill was not a talented actor at the time.
I
the
would
time,
argue
yeah.
that he's not.
That could still hold
He's
true.
pretty good at voice acting.
Yeah,
I'll
but
give
when,
him
uh,
that.
Overacting is a lot more acceptable in voice acting, and
That's true. That's very
overacting
true.
exactly
That's
what he
very
did.
true. Yeah.
Oh, overacting.
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody get Nicolas Cage a voice acting.
But you know, like Luke
Bees.
continually stumbles, right? Like he's always like, "Well, I can handle it." I mean, you know, he goes in there and
Yeah, but are you sure that's not like complexity of writing? That's just George Lucas being an idiot.
listen. George Lucas had a lot of help on Empire, and he's like, "You know what? That did pretty well. I think I can handle Return of the Jedi."
Yeah. In book canon, didn't he like switch over to the dark side for a while?
Yeah, I think after the fall of the Empire, I think so.
I thought so.
But
What's
then they
that?
erased it. Luke kind of like dabbles in the dark side.
Oh yeah, but none of that matters.
Yeah, it's all gone now.
Right, no,
Right, right.
He also like refounds the whole Jedi Temple and the Jedi Order and all that.
So, but
on Yavin.
So I was thinking about this, right? So I don't know any of the extended universe stuff, and I was just thinking like, if that family, whether it was Anakin or Luke, was supposed to balance it, they didn't. All they did was create an imbalance.
right.
So that prophecy didn't come
That
to
could
pass.
just be George Lucas screwing it up.
Yeah.
You know what I
or,
mean?
Or was it like the?
So wait a minute, the complexity and stuff that
No,
George
no, no,
Lucas
I
did
would-
on accident was okay.
No. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like Luke's complexity, right? Like because he's, or not. He just has more depth of character, right? Because he's like, ends up becoming the strongest Jedi ever to that point, but like literally loses his hand. Just fails over after he blows up the Death Star. He fails for like an entire movie.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, pick up the X-wing. Well, I can't. It's too heavy. And then Yoda's like, oh, bruh, 3 fingers. He picks it up. You know what I mean? It's just, but he's like, oh well, shit. I'm not what I thought I was.
Remember how I was saying you love the source material? I don't think we can say past tense.
That's fair.
So now,
There's some good stuff, like the original.
Not really, man.
There's plenty of weakness. There's plenty of faults. Like we said before we went on air, Darth Vader's name was Darth Vader in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right. Like Darth wasn't a title.
It
You-
works better as a title, but yeah.
Absolutely. But they stumbled on that later. They're like, wait, now his first name
Sorry.
is Darth, and George is like, yeah, it was at the time, but like, let's change that.
Yeah, let's make him his dad too.
Exactly. Exactly. You realize that in Empire, the original script had the base being attacked by Wampas.
What are Wampas?
The thing that hung Luke up in the snow cave.
Yeah,
A bunch of those attacked Echo Base. There's literally a deleted
that
scene.
sounds cool.
No, it's not. There's a deleted scene where these stormtroopers are running around and they're like, open this door. And the door, slapstick humor, opens up, grabs one, and the door shuts, and the other guys are like, all right, and they continue on with their lives. It's stupid.
yeah,
That
the,
sounds like
the
Star
deleted
Wars.
scenes are bad in Star Wars.
Yeah.
good thing they're deleted.
Yeah. There was a lot of work done in editing.
We've talked about this on air before, too. Like, Lucas just could not leave well enough alone.
Oh no, I was waiting for my time to make that joke. When is that edition coming out?
Yeah, no shit, right? Apparently,
when is the Wampa
apparently
attacking the
Disney
base
Plus
edition?
has the Han shooting first version.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
well
heard they changed it again.
I'll never experience that because I'm not going to watch those movies.
Dude, A New Hope's a pretty good movie. You can't say A New Hope's
I'm
not
watching
good.
Rebels right now, and I liked it. I'm like 5 episodes in.
Do you really think A New Hope's not good?
I genuinely do not think that's a good
Really?
movie. No.
I think it's a. There's plenty of loopholes, or you know what I mean, plot. I guess plot.
Yeah, I
holes.
think it's paced erratically, and it doesn't make sense within its own narrative. I don't think it's a good movie.
I think it's misplaced a little bit in the greater narrative that became, but like it's clearly a standalone film,
yeah. I'll
which
agree with
hurts it
that.
because like Grand Moff Tarkin like would have been way better. He would have been a way better bad guy than the Emperor, right?
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
General Moff.
What?
General.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that because he's not this like like all powerful. You don't need to see him kind of
Right.
enemy,
Right.
evil enemy. He's not. What is it? The big guy. So he's not
Snoke.
Sauron.
Yeah.
Sauron.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
But
Having those two, well, really, that's like would be like a trifecta of villains, right? Because like the Emperor could be like the head of it all, like unseen, mysterious bad guy, pulling the strings and whatnot, and then there could be a conflict between Vader, who just is like the attack dog of the Emperor, and then Tarkin, who's kind of the brains of the operational side of the Empire. Is that, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know why we're talking about it. It never happened. We never got it.
Well, we got it. I mean, there was a movie with the one guy as the kind of the lead villain pulling the strings.
Yeah,
Rogue
Rogue
One.
Rogue One.
Rouge
Yeah.
One.
Rogue. I
I liked Rogue One.
enjoyed it.
I liked it too. I
was
think
fine.
I'd like to see. It was fine. I'd like
Yeah.
to see what the cut was before they went back and did a bunch of reshoots.
Yeah, it's
Apparently, it was really dark.
I love
It-
dark
darker
movies,
than-
so.
darker than literally everyone dies the end.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it didn't have Darth Vader in it to bring your hopes up.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
fair. That's fair.
I hated that.
But I mean,
they go back to the cutting room floor to add some scenes with Darth Vader.
which they should have left out.
That's so.
They
dumb.
should have left out because that hurts the continuity when you get to A New Hope when Vader watches Leia's ship fly away, right? And she's like, "We're good, bro. We're on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan." He's like, and he doesn't say, "Bitch, I just saw you leave the ship where I killed a bunch of your guys with stupid hats." And they literally added the scene where he's in space watching it leave, and you're like,
With the stupid
you have the
But
benefit of
so
of-
many Bothans died to get them that.
That's the second Death Star plans. That is the second Death Star plans. Many Bothans died.
Speaking of
Literally dozens of Bothans died.
Whole litters. They're dog people, so that's funny.
No,
when
that's the extended universe. We don't know what they are.
that's fair.
They could be anything.
We need to play Imperial Assault. When are we doing that, by the way?
I don't know.
We need to
Is
do
there
that.
a Bothans?
Yes,
army?
that's what made me think of it. Brad was the Bothan last time we played it.
Oh, they are kind of a dog person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a whole litter of Bothans died. What were you going to say?
Literally dozens.
I was gonna,
This is a Star Wars episode, by the way.
I was gonna try to segue because speaking
go
of dark content, somewhat dark, I guess.
Elegant.
We watched The Watchmen, episode
Oh,
1.
that's true. Yeah.
On
Very
HBO.
racially charged series.
Yeah,
So far.
I'd like to watch another episode and find out like if
I-
it's gonna be that heavy-handed the whole time.
I heard it was.
It's woke men right now. It's not
Yeah.
Watchmen. It
Oh,
is-
I
yeah.
don't
I
know if I agree with that.
Don't
I
know
think
that's
it-
true.
Go back and-
You can tell a story about
I
racism
think
without it being like.
Okay,
I don't
so
even think it's agenda pushing right
the
now.
openings. I'm not going to go that far. I was about to jump on Jake's train. Now I'm going to pull back a little bit. But
Choo choo,
I'm going to make
because-
my own train. But there's a lot of objectivity that they're showing in 2019. Like, so when they're, showing in the initial part of it, it's incredible racism, right? And they definitely are making it.
that riot did happen,
Yeah,
by the
it-
way. I found out.
And they're making it
In
very, very brutal, right? But once they got to the future and they showed the old man in the wheelchair and stuff, there was a lot more tolerance about what race you were. They go out of their way to show you the main character has a very diverse family.
Right.
I don't know about.
I'm
And
interested
there's
to see like, what
friends,
the hell that means. Like
diversity amongst friends and stuff. It didn't seem like. I guess I wouldn't call it woke men. I would just say that.
I think it's too early to say it's not. I think it's too early to say it is.
That's fair.
is what
But
I'm
okay,
saying.
the only thing I have is the experience and evidence that we have before us, and there's literally a line where she says, "I can smell white supremacy a mile away, and he smells like bleach."
Yeah.
That's a funny line.
Is it?
Yeah.
And then they torture the guy. Like they
And that was a funny scene.
they mentally torture him.
Yeah.
And then she comes out and sits. I told you, bleach.
I don't think that we're watching good guys. I think that's something to take.
That's entirely true.
That's something to be important. Like just because this
I
is
tried
what we're
to- I
watching
tried to
doesn't mean that they're the
explain
And that's,
antagonists.
About
well,
how
clearly
the
we're not
esta-
when they flamethrow the guys.
Exactly.
Like they.
The
Well, they're
esta-
getting away. Better just kill them.
The establishment is not good.
They're not the
Right.
We've already
antagonists we're
estab-
following.
You didn't see the movie to like kind of reiterate that, which that's kind of important.
Well, Rorschach, like the prelude video you showed
Yeah.
us, like he exposes a big conspiracy
Yes.
from the top down,
Right.
right? So
But like Nixon kind of like persuaded his way into like, you know, a dictatorship.
well, yeah, he's on his 5th term as
Yeah,
president,
yeah.
right? In the comic. When it rained squid, I didn't really like that.
I thought that was. I guess that's a weird thing just not to like.
I would say
I'm saying the
We don't
context.
know what
of
it
Well,
is.
sure,
Yeah.
but like if it never get, I could honestly see it never getting addressed. Like, oh, just
and I'd be okay with it because that's what that's telling you is that we're following the content,
I
the
guess
continuity
that,
from
I
the
guess
comic,
that's true,
not
but
the
like,
movie.
had I not seen that video right beforehand, I
And
would.
that's a problem. I'll agree with that.
It's just like,
That's
oh,
it should
squid,
yeah.
and we're, I don't know. It's too. I wouldn't pass judgment on that show either just yet, but it was pretty heavy-handed.
To say that it doesn't push an agenda, I think is a bit early because I think it's very much going towards an agenda. It just feels like it, you know.
That's fair. I guess I just don't.
Well, it is overtly
I just don't
stated,
know.
Like,
Yeah.
I just okay. So when it comes, I guess Watchmen has always been kind of muddy with antagonist, protagonist. Who's
Watchmen is a heavily politicized comic series.
Yeah.
It is all about what is it? Consumerism and corporatization. It's a typical '80s.
well,
Story,
I
you
saw.
know?
I was watching a video about the first episode, and like
Well,
I've
that makes
said,
sense. Why you have an opinion now?
bro, I had an opinion walking out of the. But I was gonna say that like that is a little bit of a negative because everything is so charged. You know what I mean? Because like when people hear that line, they instantly are on the defensive, and the rest of the show is just shit, no matter what.
what
I
line?
mean, I can see that. I can understand.
The bleach line,
Yeah.
right? Like because it is very much in your face, like all the bad guys are the white guys. You know what I mean? Like they started literally with like a race
I can
riot.
see that.
But that turns people off,
I agree.
but there's a whole market for people that are inflamed by this. So then the media reflects that, and the media in this term I'm referring to like YouTube creators, right?
But
it gets their subs up when they create negative content
So-
about that content.
I agree that I fully agree with everything you're saying. But what I'm saying is, to enjoy a show, you shouldn't apply that level.
That's what
up
I'm
to
saying.
it.
Like, but it's
Like-
so incendiary that like we've only seen one episode, and now like the lines are drawn.
So like Captain Marvel, right, was a very, very much against men, right? So you can't watch that movie and say otherwise,
Right.
right? That doesn't make it
Not
a bad
logically.
movie, but it doesn't make it a bad movie.
No, I mean the movie. The merit of itself is the movie's merit on its own.
Like I enjoyed watching it, but I think it was a bit blunt in its
Right.
message. You know,
Right.
I don't feel like The Watchmen's at that point just by one line of dialogue.
Oh, I mean, I think it's that blunt. What I'm saying though, I'm agreeing with you
Yeah.
in a way that like we need to give it more time.
Yeah, yeah.
But everything's so incendiary that like we need to take our stance before something even comes out. In a lot of cases,
I don't know.
I'm anti-Watchmen, or I'm pro. You know what I mean?
That's,
don't
just
know.
that's social media, dude.
I get it,
you
I
know?
get
I
it.
think
I hate that.
I think anyone, I guess, anyone who makes such a statement or a position based on, I guess, that incendiary line isn't really like taking what they're watching seriously, because it's like just 'cause she says that and she's a bad person. Everything we saw in that episode, she was a bad person. She wasn't a good person.
I think,
and just
I
because
think you
she
can
was
say that, but like she is the hero, right?
no,
Well,
we don't know that. I don't.
So- Have you not? I'm sorry, Jake.
Was that we don't know if she's the hero or not. If anything, if
She's the main character. I'm sorry, she's the main character.
she's a
on
main character.
She could be directly the main character. That does not make her a good guy.
That's
I watched
fair.
I watched 8 seasons of Dexter where he's a bad guy.
I understand.
Like Billie Eilish, hardcore.
And watching Death Note, you're watching something about a bad guy. Just because they're the main character does not mean
Death
they're the
Note-
hero.
I
Death
understand.
Note's probably the best example of the main character he's literally the antagonist. Like,
You're not necessarily just because they're the main character doesn't mean they're the hero. And just
I
because
get it. I get
just
it.
because you're watching something in
why
their
don't we just dig
perspective,
that knife in a little bit deeper?
just because you're watching something in their perspective and seeing their point of view on something, and what they say about the bad guys to that person doesn't mean that that's something that the audience should take and replicate. I guess
I get it.
In case you didn't get it,
she's not the hero.
Okay, I guess how I feel is that, like, if you want to tell a story about how about the divisiveness of racism, can you ever lean into it, or do you got to swing for the fences off
I
the
think
rip?
with a medium like HBO, I think you should lean into it.
Like give
hard.
it time, right?
Yeah.
Like, give it time, not just immediately. Like, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying lean into it directly, immediately.
So swing for the fences.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
did, and I think that it has an off-putting effect.
I'm
can
And they might be
understand
okay
that,
with
yeah.
they might be okay
Yeah.
with that, saying if you don't agree with what we're saying, we don't care if you don't
I
watch.
really like polarizing media, like things that are very polarizing. And
Everything's polarizing now, though.
I mean that's
Everything.
true.
You know what I
but-
mean? And they are clear. There's a demographic that they don't care if they're not watching it. And I think that that's a problem, because I think if your angle is about inclusivity, but you are being exclusive from the get, I think that
I
that's
did not get
hypocritical.
anything about inclusivity from her when she's being the police officer. But when she's at home, it was about inclusivity.
Well, I'm talking like
You're talking about Hollywood in general.
No, I mean we're talking about Watchmen here.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like if the story, okay, the I saw a thing where the writer said like the original plot had a lot to do with the comic I'm talking had a lot to do with the Cold War.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The intrigue
yeah.
of the Cold War, and he said that the new Cold War is racism in this country.
Absolutely.
Right.
I would say that is a very hot topic
So
in this country
if
right
you're
now.
watching a Watchmen title, there's been 3 in the well, this would be 4, right? They're always incredibly politically
And that's
think
that's
that's
totally
what the
fine.
story
That's totally
is.
fine. But to fix racism, right, or in exclusivity is to be inclusive, right?
Okay,
So
Right.
not necessarily. So and this is why I'm saying this. Read the original Watchmen. You saw that their fix for nuclear war was to kill millions of people.
That's fair. But I guess I'm talking
well-
I'm talking the HBO.
okay,
angle,
but okay,
right?
but here's something like you don't know that's their angle. Just telling a
okay,
story. Okay,
we
hold
can
on a second.
pretty much assume from one episode that that's what it is, right?
No, I don't necessarily believe that, but just telling a story
I think
about.
you're being willfully ignorant on it.
I don't think we
Go
haven't
ahead, I'm
seen
sorry,
enough.
make your
Telling
point.
a story about racism, showing the very divisiveness of race in the country in 2019, and especially in this different time of where cops have anonymity and there's completely different regulations in the world. Like telling a story about that divide doesn't necessarily have. We don't know what the agenda is. If the agenda is to get everyone included, I don't know if I got that from the episode.
So
No, I'm not saying that.
It's too soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that logically, if racism is the biggest problem, it's an exclusivity thing to be exclusive yourself to exclude people.
But this is
what-
one episode out of 10.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jake, if you don't see the writing on the wall, I think
So
you're just willingly closing
I
your
think
eyes.
no, and not necessarily because you're jumping to a conclusion without experiencing
The full story.
the story.
That's fair.
So
What was the theme of the episode, though?
So just because I'm not disagreeing that racism is going to be a huge part of this. What I'm saying is you're jumping to a conclusion. Their solution to racism may not be inclusivity. It may be segregation. Like, we don't know. So people who are jumping to that conclusion are being a little bit disingenuous.
Well, I think people
It's
are
almost
looking,
arrogant.
I think people. Well, I don't agree with that.
I definitely think it's arrogant.
I think
to
it's people looking at
assume-
the track record of HBO and their
It's
stances
definitely
on things.
arrogant to assume that you know something without receiving the information. That's arrogant.
But you've received information.
not from this not from
You
this
receive
team of
usually
people.
chapter 1 of a story. Like, you don't have the climax and you don't have the end.
Okay, but would it be safe to assume that the next 9 episodes might have something to do with the first episode?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But you're jumping to a conclusion. You're saying A leads to E.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm
without
saying A leads
experiencing-
to B.
You think that, but you're only saying that there's only one B. You're not saying
you're not
that.
saying A leads to B.
It sounds more like Tim saying A is A, and A will continue to be A. And that's.
But no,
No, but
not
he-
at all.
he-
But that's not at all.
And you're saying maybe not.
Well, I'm saying we need to experience the
I mean, I haven't
story.
seen any of it, so I don't know.
So you can't just immediately think, just because you hear racist rhetoric, that the end goal of the series is to promote inclusivity.
No. That's okay. Maybe I didn't explain. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that they have taken a stance where, and I'm talking more HBO as the entity itself. They've said, hey, like, we're going to put this story out in the way we want, and we don't care if the other side watches or wants to partake.
I respect that.
I think that.
Like, immensely.
But isn't
think
that
that-
a little hypocritical when we're talking about something like racism?
No, I think.
I think that
It's okay to exclude.
I think that they're
that
not
disagree
excluding.
with
They're
you.
not saying
Everyone
you
can
can't
watch it. Yeah. Everyone can
That's
watch
not
it.
exclusion.
Telling a story, it's like saying any kind of art form because one group of people don't like it, find it offensive.
No, but it's the okay. I guess you're missing what I'm saying. The message. Okay, the reason you would make a story about, so heavily about racism is because you think racism is bad, right? And you want to fix it.
No, see,
Not
that's
necessarily.
what I'm saying. You're jumping to a conclusion. I think that if you're making art, you're eliciting an emotion or an emotional response, right? So all you're trying to do is get a response emotionally, and I think that I can respect incredibly that HBO is like, I don't care if you don't like it, we're gonna tell the story we want to tell.
Would
That's
they do that the other
significant.
way?
Look at
How do you don't
I'm-
know
I'm-
which way it's gonna go?
I'm just asking. Would they make a pro-racism show?
How do you know
and
they're
more
not?
importantly, should they?
But how do you know they're not?
I'm pretty positive they're not.
Do you
making,
think-
I'm pretty sure
That's
Watchmen is
arrogant.
not.
That's
a-
arrogant.
Do you-
call me arrogant.
do you
That's
think-
fine.
do
I'm
you
pretty
think-
sure Watchmen. I will bet money today. Watchmen is not a
I'll take that bet.
pro-racism.
I'll take that bet.
Okay, who-
I've
who-
experienced Watchmen.
Who's the arbiter of who wins this bet? Because I will definitely do this.
me,
Okay, so
because I watch it
the
too.
2 sheep will vote against the. Or the
No.
2 wolves will
Do you
vote
think-
for the sheep. What's for dinner?
Do you think the Joker should have been made?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Okay, so
Well, that glorifies white,
Does it?
a white mental disorder.
White?
Absolutely.
White? That's a racial.
So it's a white man with a mental disorder being glorified.
Why is he?
That was the
That-
whole.
I mean,
the
that-
whole
that
crux
was one of
that
the-
on Twitter.
that was the-
the
I mean,
whole debate.
I can see people don't like it because it's a white lead.
Did
on
anyone
Twitter
say
specifically.
that the Watchmen shouldn't have been made?
well, no, I'm just saying that he's saying
Maybe.
the way that they're making it, maybe he shouldn't be making it.
No, I never said
I
that.
don't think he said that.
I never said that.
You said
I said it's hypocritical for them to make something about racism and then make it so exclusionary.
exclusionary. That's
Is that the right word?
Yeah, yeah.
To basically like, well, if you are a Southern white guy, like, you're the bad guy. We don't care how you feel about this.
I mean, I don't know the context of the thing you watched, but at the same
it has
time,
nothing to do with what I watched.
Well, I don't.
From,
but
I
I don't
watched the
think art
episode.
should be like that. I think that,
And that's fair.
Absolutely. If
That's
I
fair.
make
That's- but
something,
I agree.
don't think I should be worried about the people that don't like it.
I
I'm
totally
gonna
agree.
Tell the story.
I totally agree. But when we're talking about something like this with an agenda like this from HBO, who has the history,
we don't
they
know
do,
the agenda.
I agree with that.
We don't
know yet.
know an agenda.
making an
we
assumption.
only seen one episode.
Well, I guess we can address this again after a second episode.
I would love to. This got more heated than I expected. I loved I loved the first episode. I thought it was.
What did you love about it?
I loved how muddy it was. I didn't know which character to like or dislike. It kept changing.
Did you like any characters?
And by the end of it, no. I guess maybe I only seen him in 2 scenes, but the black kid from the beginning and then old man at the end, like.
You liked the old man that hung a guy?
I'm
just trying to get on.
I don't think that old man hung him. He was in a wheelchair.
He could lift 200 pounds.
I don't think he could.
Remember that?
I don't think that scene was told. I agree with you on this. Like, I don't think I have formed an opinion of anybody yet, but I don't think that scene was told in a way that you could have logically assumed that man in a wheelchair hung that guy.
No, he was he was there for a specific reason and pertained
There's
to
a
that
reason
woman.
he was holding that note, right?
And so
I don't know.
I
didn't-
mean, like,
I don't know.
I don't know what the reason
I
is.
guess
but,
the husband,
you know.
the girl's husband, seemed pretty nice. But like by the end of the episode, no, there wasn't really any character I liked, and which is
That's
fine.
fair. No,
I don't know if I like him or not, but like,
Which is fine. I can watch an episode where I dislike the character's actions throughout the whole movie.
That's
whole
fair.
story.
And I agree that art should be art, regardless of what the reception's going to be. I don't want you to think that I disagree with that.
oh, I don't.
But when
I think we're conflating two things.
right, but when the
Yeah.
stance that they're taking, that I assume they're taking, which I will bet something on that they're taking.
I will take that bet.
We got to find an arbiter, though. I'm not
so
doing it with.
it entirely could be, and I'm willing to lose that. But like, the
I'm
Watchmen
going off of
has
HBO
been-
as it's less of an indictment of Watchmen this one episode, and more of HBO has been shown to do this kind of shit.
Well, I
over-
think it's all of Hollywood, right? Like,
Sure.
like
Sure.
in general.
and that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So like, you bemoan.
Like you
People
can't
being
work.
inclusive.
You can't work in Hollywood if you're
Right,
conservative.
right,
Like,
and
you
that's
just- you
a
can't.
big issue, and that's why I said, would they make it the other way around? And I don't
mean,
think they
I
would.
think they would.
I haven't seen any type of media made in that stance,
If a non-white
and I don't
person was
think
being
I don't
racist,
think
is that
the
you're saying?
Joker. Well, no, I don't know. I mean, like it's hard
No,
to
the
just
Joker's not a
completely
good
invert.
because we're talking about racist against blacks or minorities, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
I also think it hyperbolizes something that
I don't think it's right to villainize anybody. But I mean, I'm willing to watch a show and
sure.
enjoy the show.
Well, no, and
even if it does.
and for the sake of
know?
art, I totally agree. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when you take a position on something and then make something so hardline the other way, it's hypocritical. That's all
I
was saying.
guess, but I guess
I don't think so. But I mean, we can disagree.
I don't.
I would say
There's
if it
different-
wasn't political
there's
and it
different-
was just artistic, it's fine. But
But
I don't
HBO's
think it's just
not
artistic.
in the business of political opinions. They're in the HBO. They're in the business of telling stories.
Oh, see, I disagree with that.
Well,
entirely.
and here's another thing is that I
I think
just,
they're very political.
there's
I
different-
think all
they're
Hollywood's
not
very political.
in the business of politics. They
No.
make money by telling stories.
Sure, but
So the two do not have to be synonymous. You can have a political stance on something and tell stories to make money that are opposed to that political agenda.
sure, but I don't think they do.
um
I can't think of anything that they have.
What about
I guess I
True
don't.
Detective season 3? They depict a black and a white cop in the first episode saying, "Let's go find somebody to beat the shit out of."
Yeah,
I
but all-
need that
Yeah, but all that's
while
mean,
they're
you-
getting drunk.
You could argue that just plays more into the police brutality thing, though.
Right, but they're saying it that police are brutal. That it's not racially charged.
Well, no, but I mean that's that.
Who's known for calling out police brutality, though?
What's that?
Police brutality being called out is
That's a left angle, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So I understand that it's a left angle, but it's not about racism.
No, I agree.
You know?
I agree.
Interesting. HBO is just often left angled.
Yeah, I mean, but
like,
I
all
totally
Hollywood is.
agree that police brutality
Most.
is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like,
That
But-
just sounds like a straw
But
man
the
from the
leftist
left.
agenda, the true extreme leftist agenda, is not just about police brutality.
no, sure.
It's about Black Lives Matter. It's about black brutality. It's police being brutal to blacks.
Well, Black Lives Matter is about
exactly.
about police brutality.
Specific-
That's
yeah.
Sure.
You could, in the Watchmen first episode, you could argue that we're also not being told the full story, because I guess we don't know much about the Rorschach cult. If they're
We don't know
racist,
anything about it.
yeah, anything about them. We don't know if they're actually racist or not, or if they're just some kind of underground
They
anarchists.
did say they were white supremacists.
well, we all
didn't
know
they?
we haven't seen the
well,
whole,
they
They
did
did
like
say
a
full
that.
story.
But
We've seen
we
one
don't
episode.
know. They could have been
mislabeled.
I'm saying,
misrepresented.
yeah.
well,
Listen,
we
I
were
would love
told
if they
this.
that was the assumption
we
I
were
actually made.
we were told this by the police, who were shown to be bad guys. So I'm not going to take at face value what they're
Listen, man,
saying.
I would love for that to end up being the actual angle that, like, because that would fit right in line with the original comic, from what I understand.
Well, I mean, the Rorschach
corruption
cult
in
is
high
about
places.
truth and about getting the journal out there, right? So I don't know how that applies to racism, but maybe
that-
it does.
well-
We gotta, we gotta watch
racism's
it.
the new Cold War for the theme of the
so
show,
so the way I
per
see
the
it,
writer.
the
Yeah,
way
but it was my bad this time, my friend.
one thing that we've seen in history and something, once someone or a democrat or a group is deemed racist, they're like immediately demonized. So it'd be a really easy thing to do for the people in control of everything to deem a group racist, to have everyone hate on when they're the ones that are
I think
actually.
that is an awesome idea, but it's far too subtle for HBO to do.
Well, I'm just saying, like it
think it's a
could
great
it could lean that way, that this Rorschach group that we've been told by the controlling police that are shown to be bad guys,
Are actually the good guys, and they're being.
and they're being hunted.
Listen, I think that would be a really cool story.
I
arc.
agree.
I don't know if we're gonna get
I
it.
don't think
I don't know if we're gonna get it either.
HBO would be that subtle. But
I think it's more likely that the Rorschach guys are gonna be Bleach. That's my
I
assumption.
don't think so. It doesn't fit. And if they do that, I'll be really disappointed in the series.
Listen,
Just
man,
because-
I'm still riding on Game of Thrones where a lot of shit didn't fit, and you're like, wait, what?
Well, I mean, it took you 3 seasons to get there, right? It was a slow burn to the dumpster fire that was season
Right.
8, right? That would be a dramatic twist.
That would just be
from-
starting off bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense.
I don't. Yeah, that's fair, but I don't know that I don't know that HBO is immune to that.
I don't think anybody really is.
Right. I mean, HBO's got some. They've got some good shows on their record.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like, recent history hasn't been all that
True
Do
Detective season 2.
do you think
bad. And that wasn't even bad from an agenda standpoint. That was just like overall a dud.
do you think the black guy in the wheelchair at the end had anything to do with the Rorschach cult?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
All I know is that guy thinks he can lift 200 pounds. That's.
I don't see how you can
don't know why
make
you would-
that. How you could jump to that conclusion.
Do you think he
What do
also
you mean?
made
No,
the phone
he said
call?
that to her when she goes into her not bakery. He says, "Do you think I can lift 200 pounds?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm sure you can." And locks the door. That was that guy.
Huh?
He says that to her.
Which
Don't you
guy? The
remember-
old guy in the
old black
wheelchair?
guy in the wheelchair.
How do you remember this select
Because it
piece
was
of
so
dialogue?
random.
I don't think you remember it. I think this is a video you watched.
Unbelievable.
So what video was it that you watched, Julie? I want to watch it.
I gotta watch the first episode again because I don't even remember this.
I remember them talking, but like it's a throwaway piece of dialogue.
But it was so random
That's what I'm saying. It's a throwaway piece. It didn't matter. So why do you pay attention to it?
because it was so
That's
random.
an
in
analyst
the middle.
too, who was like
No.
looking at at the show.
Believe it or not, man, I can form my own opinions.
Wow, this got heated about an
Man, I'm
episode
sorry. I was just kidding.
of episode
No, I don't
of
know. I don't know who he is. I don't know what.
but is,
I don't know if you hung the guy or not. I don't know.
I don't think he hung the guy. I did not come to that.
If he
conclusion.
doesn't have working legs, you would think he didn't hang him. But
I mean,
unless it's a power wheelchair and he just drove it while holding on.
power wheel.
Power wheelchair.
Isn't that like a little kid's?
unbelievable. Well, hell, we ended up talking about Watchmen for way longer than I anticipated.
I think that just from the nature of that of the story of Watchmen to elicit a response like this conversation, I think so far it's a success.
But going back to what I said earlier, like there's a whole group of people that will not watch it, either because of watching the first episode and they'll clock out, or watching review videos of the first episode and will not even try it.
Why is that a problem?
Well, if it's a good show, I think that they would miss out. It's just everything. So it's the political climate.
I know
Everything
people
is so incendiary.
that did not go and watch Captain Marvel because of the agenda.
And, I mean, that's totally fair. You vote with your dollars, but like,
I think they miss out on some key characters. They're probably real confused at the end of Spider-Man.
I don't know if they missed
really?
out much.
From Captain Marvel?
There's key characters introduced Captain Marvel.
Spoilers.
Listen, the end credit scene of Captain Marvel that was end scene of Endgame.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't
So
no
I'm
Endgame.
just saying-
in
I'm
End
just
Endgame.
saying,
scene of
like,
Spider-Man.
The point I'm
End scene of Spider-Man Homecoming.
just
Or
let it
Far
go.
From
I don't care
Home.
about. I don't care about
The
it.
point I'm trying to make is that like people of the right did not want to go see it because of the stance they're making. Right?
No, and that's fair. You vote with your dollars, but
Yeah.
they miss out on the. I don't think that was
That's
a great
okay.
movie at all. But
I didn't say it was a great movie, but it was worth watching.
I mean, yeah, I watched. I mean, it didn't ruin my day because
Yeah,
you know why they call it a cockpit
It was an okay movie.
bit on the nose.
twice.
I'm just a girl.
Yeah, I mean that movie was very.
But it's very polarizing, and the only reason I bring it up is that it's the same thing where it's like it's making an agenda. It's very blunt, but like it's okay if you don't like it.
That's fair.
It's okay if you don't watch
That's
it.
fair. Okay, and I guess what I was trying to say earlier was like if you want to tell that story and use it as a vehicle to help relations change, to just totally turn everybody off after one episode is a bad idea.
I would agree with you that that's a bad idea. But what I'm trying to say is that it's HBO. I don't think that they're in the business of doing.
That's fair.
That,
They may not be. I don't know.
Tune in next week for the
I also-
review of Watchmen episode 2.
I also think that like sometimes like you just need to like if you can't talk about not being offended, okay, like the okay boomer thing, right? Like we don't get offended by anything, and people say okay boomer, and boomers are upset by it. Like that's right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You haven't seen
You
those?
ever seen the OK Boomer thing? It's the
know what you're referring
millennial and Gen Z response to when boomers are crazy. I guess they just respond with OK Boomer. And
It's just a meme, right?
Okay.
But people have called it an ageist slur, and this is but now listen. This is
everything.
these
you're
are the
saying.
people that came up with the
Brittany hates
snowflake, and millennials ruined everything crowd, right? But then you say okay boomer and they're offended. What I'm saying is like if you say you're not offended and then get offended by something, you're no better than the people you're looking down on, right? So like these people, the same people that talk trash about SJWs, and then like, oh, okay boomer is an ageist slur. Like, come on, man.
yeah.
An ageist slur.
Kind of, but it's not going to stop me from saying it if I want
What-
to.
Actually, aren't baby boomers the only like demographic recognized with the U.S. Census? Like we talk about Gen Z and millennials and all this stuff.
I have
It's
no
They're
idea.
not
it's
actual
all-
terms.
no,
we
it's all
just
fake.
apply it to
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
we
it's
want.
more for like marketing demographics.
Yeah, and baby boomers actually were.
It's a little misleading too because like baby boomer makes it seem like you're the one having the babies. It's actually referring to the babies that were
They were
boomed.
boomed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got boomed.
They got
the
boomed.
mic.
Boomed babies.
Jake, get out.
What time we got? We
It's
off?
10. It's
We
past
done?
10.
Just over 10, yeah.
All right, guys. Watchmen episode 2 next week. I can't wait.
Mandalorian as well, probably.
No, Mandalorian was. We'll give another episode.
I didn't say anything racist, so we can give it another
Well,
shot.
I think it might almost be worse.
I have more of a
if-
problem with that than Watchmen.
I would agree. I would agree because I think that
I just don't want to spoil it for people that are watching. We've got some.
this
stuff
is
to talk
literally
about.
the spoiler show. No, man. Bad writing is worse than an agenda pushing show.
How was the directing?
I don't know.
In
I don't know how
this
to tell
show,
that.
in The Mandalorian, very poor.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
The dialogue was bad.
What dialogue?
the bad ones that we heard.
It was bad.
All right,
I
guys.
only heard it. It was bad.
I only heard it. We'll see you next week. We love you.
Bye.
We hope you guys find your dad.